Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Tara Tatangelo here, ready to guide you into some emotional release. With today's day and age where we are, with what's going on in the world, with our own personal lives, with our inner worlds, our outer worlds, family, relationship, children, whatever it may be in your life, we are on a daily basis, regardless if you practice on emotional release or not, on a daily basis, we are taking in a lot, from you driving to the grocery store, to work, to having conversations, to just your own inner dialogue. So we are bringing in a lot when we don't even realize it, and we're pressing it into the body somewhere. And what happens over time, it's like sweeping things under the rug, right? And not always do we have a safe place, or it's not the right time in the right place to fully release and go into your emotions. So when we are in a state of sadness, or we're in a state of worry or fear or doubt, we tend to get really in our heads, right? That's just kind of a normal thing. And on top of that, as things are happening in our day-to-day life, sometimes we just brush it off, right? We just kind of push it to the side. So today in this video, I am going to give you some ideas and some journaling prompts for you to inspire some action. And when I say some action, I mean nobody else can do this for us. We are the ones that have to take the time to give ourselves the space to move into what's going on inside here. So let's get started. I want to first start out with, this is and can be a little bit too much for some people. So I want you to really tune into yourself, check in, and as you watch the video and as I go, if this is something that feels like you need to have someone there with you, so be it. I have had that multiple times where if I was moving through, let's say, like rage or anger about something, I would have a close friend with me to just hold the space. Because sometimes when we really get into these, we start digging in, it can really boil up some stuff from our past, from, family bloodlines, like all kinds of different things. So I always want to say, first and foremost, check with yourself first, then check with, if you have a therapist or doctor or anybody that you're working with already for your mental health or emotional release, whatever it is, check with them first and make sure that it's okay for you to do this on your own. I've had many levels of different things happen throughout this process where I end up just on the floor weeping and just releasing and releasing. And sometimes what you see, I have pillows next to me. Sometimes really just actually getting like your full body involved with the emotion is really helpful. So I always suggest pillows or a bed and pillows to like fully like just basically beat up your pillows and beat up your bed. Think about children, right? When a child is not being heard or seen, or is not being understood, or they're trying to they don't understand their emotions yet and they're trying to express something, they throw tantrums, right? Well, as we get older, it's not that acceptable for a grown human, I should say, to throw a tantrum in the middle of the grocery store or in the middle of, a walk in the park. So obviously we've all seen children throw tantrums before, and it's hard and you want to be there for them. And all they're doing is moving emotion. So with that being said, this is what we're going to do today. We are going to learn how to move emotion so that we can get out of the head, because the mind will just keep on grabbing us and just keep on taking us down. So with breath, with movement, that is going to be the most important part of everything we're going to go through here, and also journaling. I always bring in journaling. If you've watched many other things or have taken any of my classes or workshops, I'm all about journaling, getting it out. Get it out of your head, get it on paper, use your hands. You're using your hands to write. We're still moving emotion that way. So what you're gonna need is pillows. You can even have like some blankets. You can be in your bedroom, in a place where you have a bed or anything like extra cushy. And also space. You want to make sure that you have a bit of space. So I'm not going to be moving around too much in this video, and I'm not going to go super deep into it. I'm just going to give you the ideas and how to get into these spaces. So one of the first things we're going to do is it's going to be bringing the breath and our movement together. And it's meant to really ground you, really bring you back, bring it back, bring it back, bring it back, bring it back here, bring it back to the body, bring it back to the space where we can be in control of our emotion, as opposed to the emotion being in control of us. So the first one, we're going to get up onto our feet, but first I'm just going to guide you through it. So we'll be on our feet. We're going to take a deep breath in as our arms come up, and then we're going to exhale as our arms go back. And we're going to kind of bend through the knees. You're going to inhale up, exhale, release. Inhale up, exhale, release. So when I get up to show you this, I would love for you to join me, and we'll just take a baby step for you to learn the technique and the breath. And just even within a couple of seconds, I can do like 5 of them and feel a shift within my body. So really just take a second and play along with me and see what it does. See what you feel shift within just a tiny little moment of really dropping into it. So let's go. Let's get on our feet. So you're going to stand. You're about, give or take, hip length apart. And you're going to close your eyes, take a second, feel what's present. What are you feeling right now? Is it rage? Is it frustration? Is it jealousy? Is it sadness? Is it worry? Is it doubt? Whatever it is. So we're going to start out, bend the knees slightly, bring the arms all the way up, take a deep inhale. Bringing it back down. Take a second. Take a couple breaths. Feel the shift. Feel what may have come up for you. Now, for me, I'm here to guide you and show you, so I'm not specifically dropping myself into any specific space, but just doing that right there, I'm just more grounded. So if I'm even just trying to get grounded, I'm nervous about something, whatever it may be, that right there already took me into a place of feeling more calm, more balanced, more grounded. So there is our first embodiment practice for you to try. And again, the range of emotion that you may be wanting to release can be really anything. It could even be excitement, right? So next thing, this is something that I have been practicing for a while. And I even started practicing this a bit when I was a teenager. I didn't obviously really at the time understand what I was doing, but I would just get so upset inside because especially when you're a teenager, there's so many hormones, nobody gets you, you're completely just an alien and you're just all alone, right? So when I was a teenager, going into these states of just like this bottled up anger, I would just start beating up my bed. Like full-blown 3-year-old tantrum. And I lost it for quite a few years to where I didn't understand why I was still feeling so much of this rage. It's because I wasn't moving it. So once I started to get back into, obviously, doing embodiment practices, I learned real quick to reflect back to that. Like, oh my gosh, I was literally doing this work unconsciously, consciously, to release, to ground, to feel better so that I didn't take it out on anything else around me because it's nobody else's problem. It's nobody else's worry to process my emotions, right? So for this one, I want you to have your blankets, your pillows, your bed, wherever you are in a soft space. Also, if you have a punching bag, even better. Punching bags are great. So the reason why this is one that I really want to share is I grew up with a bit of that anger and that rage more than like sadness. So this one's going to definitely be more for you to like, whew, like really get some stuff moving. Now, again, I'm going to give you a little softer version, give or take, but this is what it looks like. So if you want to follow along, feel free. This is a little more like do this when you're ready. Take yourself into the space. Let's just say I'm working on like some rage that's coming up from my childhood, or something happened with your loved one, your partner, and you just got to get some shit out so that you don't take it out on them. So what I always do, again, pillows are going to be your best friend. I tend to like to be seated or like on my knees. I'll end up twisted around in blankets like a crazy lady sometimes, in the best way, to really get me into that space where I'll get lost. I'll just be so in that release, and just like emotions coming up and stuff that I didn't even know was in there will start to arise. So basically, you're going to just create little fists, and you're just going to start just and just use your voice, breath, like and sometimes you just gotta pick up the pillow and scream at the top of your lungs. Like that. So those two right there are two little tokens that I actually do use quite a bit in some of my teachings. And when I'm working in person with my students and my clients, I will hold the space for them to go deeper into that rage or that anger or that frustration or whatever, even sadness. I mentioned before that maybe the sadness part doesn't come through in that way, but sometimes it does. We start out with being sad, and then we go into that rage. So with those two embodiment practices, I hope that can bring a little bit of awareness and some movement, some ways for you to get that shit out of your body. Get it out. All it's doing is festering inside and creating dis-ease in your body. We don't want that, right? We want to be healthy. We want to be vibrant. We want to be vibrational beings. So therefore, your homework is to practice one of these. Practice one of these in a safe container, in a safe space. Again, asking for permission if you need a little more insight with your stability within your emotions at this time. But otherwise, take yourself on a little journey and start out small, start out a little more mild. And if you already are familiar with some of this work, ask a friend to join you if you want, for them to hold space and give you more of a safe container for you to move through. Now, as for some journal prompts, let's go into a couple of journal prompts that will help you. And I tend to journal before and after I do something like this. Sometimes it just comes and it's just like in the moment I need to express. But if you are going to really just like set some time aside to move some stuff around, take a second to write it down. Like, what am I feeling right now? What am I feeling right now? That's your first one. Take a second, close your eyes, check into your body. What is it? What are you feeling? Then next, take another breath. Where am I feeling it in my body? Where does it feel like it's being held? It could be anywhere. It could be in your left ankle. It could be in your gut. It could be in your chest. It could be in your back, wherever, your head, Where is it in your body? And for the third one, I want you to just ask, what can I do to face this emotion? What can I do to face this emotion? And then at the end, afterwards, once you're finished, kind of look back at those answers that you wrote down and then repeat. How are you feeling after you did the breath work and like moving your arms and like breathing into that, exhaling and like throwing that energy, just like feeling your hands just like pull away whatever is in the way, just pulling it back every exhale. How do you feel afterwards? What has released? Do you feel more space? Do you feel lighter? And then the beating up the pillows, the tantrum, like instantly, I have to say, sometimes I end up like laughing afterwards because I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so silly. I was just so rageful for no reason. Or I was so rageful holding on to it like it felt good or something. No, this feels good. Releasing it, getting it out of my body, that feels good. So I hope that all or one of these things were helpful for you, and you can take some sort of token to help you or a friend, a loved one. We have a lot that we're holding on to these days, and with mental health and emotional release being something that's really being spotlighted in a lot of ways, thank goodness, because we all need this help, right? Just because you're not diagnosed with something or someone told you that you needed this or that, we all need this. We are all holding something within us from each day. And so from the bottom of my heart, I wish the best for you and that you can release and feel the openness and the space that is here and ready for you. And if you have any questions or comments, or you want to share what you went through or a process that came through for you with doing one of these practices, please don't hesitate to reach out, comment below, and make sure that you subscribe and like the channel. And I will see you next time, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for tuning in.